Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I apologize for being late. Shout out to I wouldn't be new. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for being here so much. Let me get my desk is like all the way up here, and I'm right here. I gotta set myself up, y'all. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody. Oh my goodness. I see everybody coming through. Mel's Lane. Mel has been a member for 19 months. Listen, it's really killing me that YouTube is like changing the tags. So it's like if I called you something, it's showing up as a different name. So just so people are aware, that's not me, that's YouTube. I don't even think it's StreamYard for that matter. But Mel, thank you so much for being a member for 19 months and a longtime supporter. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maggie, thank you again for being a member for 3 months. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys. Good morning. What are you guys drinking on? Well, listen, I'm tired, been working. Just to let you guys know, I have another video that I have not scheduled yet. But it is a pre-recorded, and it's been something I've been working on for I don't know, for a good week and a half at this point, because it's a 2-parter video that's going to drop. So keep an eye out, because it's one of those videos where I can't just schedule it. I have to kind of just drop it so that people are aware. Welcome, welcome. Hence the random numbers on my username. Yeah, it's just so people are aware there's something going on. It's Google, Microsoft, YouTube account. It's a duplicate. Well, there's something going on. But listen, just so you guys are aware, I thought it was a YouTube thing, but it sounds like it's a multiple situation thing. All right, let's get started. Let me get the intro going so I can send this out and let people know that we're live now. Get your coffee, get your drink, hurry up, let's go. Hold up, wait a minute. Bruh. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat, let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat, drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat, let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat, drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty, exposed in the industry. Unsolved mysteries, sticking to reality. Fair use commentary, talking about cults, trying to get results. Exploring cults, exploring, researching, debunking, investigating, being nosy, super nosy, being messy, being shady. Rabbit hole news, that's me, the chick with ADHD, unmedicated but quite educated. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat, let's chit chat, hit chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat, drop some rabbits. Hit that like, hit that like. Let's go, let's go. Let's start the show, let's start the show, let's start the show, let's start the show, let's start the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. We are here. We are here. Hold up. Okay, I can't get this test any lower. I'm gonna have to fix this little camera tripod thing. Welcome, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day. It has been a bit of a crazy morning for me. I woke up with a little bit of a headache. I think I'm just a little tired. It's been a bit of a crazy situation. Judge Rabbit, listen, I got my gavel up there. I don't know if y'all see it. I mean, we could definitely jump into Judge Rabbit the mode, but right now Judge Rabbit is still on retirement until we find a really good case to cover, which there has been some. We just trial hasn't started quite yet for most of them. But welcome, everybody. Listen, let's start with the situation that everybody's buzzing about. It is the Diddy situation right now. Now, last night, Agnifilo and team submitted a memorandum. It's like a 66-page memorandum where he basically breaks down just it's either acquit this man or give him a new trial type of situation. And it's a very dense reading, but we're going to review a little bit of it because I don't want us to take this whole live for that. It's very, very dense. But what I do want us to do is that he did do an interview with Court TV. Agnifilo did an interview with Court TV. So we're going to watch that right now. Now, let me see. Didn't I pull that? Yes, I did. How come you're not showing up? Sean Diddy Combs acquittal. Man, let me know what you guys think. And listen, between I don't know what to expect at this point. Let me be very real. Between the rumors of a possible pardon to an acquittal, to Comey being gone, to all of this. I mean, anything and everything goes when it comes to Diddy at this point in the trial. You just never know. Samantha, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Oh, let me fix my camera. There it is. Thank you, Samantha. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Is that GG, Matt? It's 66 pages and the road to nowhere. It's 66 long-ass pages. Let me just say. And I forgot, I can't really cuss the first. Well, we're already past the 7 minutes or 6 minutes. Thank you. And Ronan has been a member. It feels like you've been a member for longer than that. There's something really trippy going on with StreamYard, I'm noticing. Like, this is not even showing. I just happened to catch it. Ronan, thank you so much for supporting my channel. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, last Ronan. Listen, here we go. We got to watch this. So Agnifilo does an interview. And Agnifilo says what he's, thinking. Like, listen, he deserves to be, this is a unique case. He's the only man out there with the Mann Act who's behind bars, who's gotten the sentence that he's gotten. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Come back. We're shining our spotlight this morning on the case against Sean Diddy Combs and his latest push to get out of jail. He's awaiting sentencing on prostitution-related convictions. His lawyers just filed a brand new motion for bond. So what's it mean? I sat down with his lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, to find out. With me now, Sean Combs' attorney, Mark Agnifilo. Mark, great to be with you. Thank you for being on the program today. And might I just say, I got to see you deliver the closing arguments in the case, and you were an outstanding advocate for Mr. Combs.
Oh, thank you very much. And thanks so much for having me.
You're very welcome. So let's get into this bail package that you have proposed. I read your motion and you talk about the exceptional facts of this case and how the way the Mann Act is being applied is kind of like one of a kind. Would you walk us through what you mean by that, please?
Sure. So the Mann Act was passed in 1910, and it's changed a few times through the years. But really what it's geared at, what it's focused on, is prosecuting people who make money from the business of prostitution. And that's not the allegation against Mr. Combs. The allegation of Mr. Combs, what the jury found, essentially was that he was a user of services provided by sex workers, essentially a John, for lack of a better word. And the Mann Act just historically hasn't been applied to Johns. It's a financial statute. It's really been applied at people who look to make money from prostitution. And so since that's not how it's being applied here, we made the argument that we have to, under the case law and the statutes in this area, that this is an exceptional reason and that Mr. Combs should be considered for release on bail because of it.
Mark, I read in your motion, you
hold up. Jenny, your name changed, by the way. You said she sound like a 900 operator, the host. She got that little soft voice. She really does. Let me play.
Say that Mr. Combs may very well be the only John sitting in a jail right now for his crimes. What makes you say that?
So we've done a nationwide survey of Mann Act cases, and we're not all the way finished, but we've looked at probably close to 100 cases, and we don't see any other case where a John, the user of prostitution services, is being prosecuted under the Mann Act. There are instances where the user of prostitution services has some kind of connection with the arranger, the organizer, the people who make the money from the prostitution services. But in terms of just being a straight user of services provided by a sex worker, we think he might be the only person in the country.
Wow.
I certainly see what you're...
The only person in the country? That's interesting. I mean, remember when they did the filing, we were reading it, and this is a very unique, I told you all, it is a unique situation in terms of like the circumstances and the charges and everything. Diddy makes this man needs to go ahead. I wonder what skeletons is in his closets. What do you mean, Jessica White? Oh my God. You guys are going in on these comments. It's too early. Did you guys drink coffee? Let me know. He wasn't even a John. He was buying prostitutes for her. He was. That's absolutely correct. He wasn't a John. He was buying prostitutes with his money for her. And so if you're going to go on the technicality of the financial gain, there was no financial gain for Diddy. There was another gain. There was a master's degree gain, but there was no financial gain for Diddy. Think about it. What financial gain, if this was a RICO, which it's not, right? What financial gain was made out of this situation? Yeah, he was more like a pimp than a John. I would agree with that one, G-Matt.
Saying and can appreciate the legal argument you put forth in your motion for bail for Mr. Combs, Mark. And even if the judge agrees, let's say the judge agrees that this is an exceptional application of the Mann Act, and your client may be the only one who's jailed right now. You've cited every other case you can find. It's an ROR type bond situation. What about the other component that we know the judge is very concerned about, and that is your client's propensity for violence? Even you yourself acknowledge that in the closing arguments of the case with what happened to Cassie on the video that the world saw, and in the instances with Jane. How can you reconcile your position now in this motion for bail that he should be free and is not a danger to the public when we know these instances happened in the past?
So I think the key thing with what you said is that it happened in the past. I mean, the only instance that we have in recent memory was one, and the trial evidence showed this, where Jane essentially, started a fight with Mr. Combs, smashed his head against the counter, threw glasses at him. Jealousy was always a feature of their relationship, and Jane was jealous of his relationship with another woman. And
he does mention that in the filing. He's got to mention the Jane situation, just so everybody's aware.
So that was about 14 months ago that happened. But other than that, everything dates back, a number of years, 2018 and before. And as we made, the point we made in the bail application as well is, Mr. Combs is seeking counseling, was seeking counseling for domestic violence before he was arrested. He was attending a program here in New York. And we really wish that he could have stayed in that program, but the federal government arrested him, and then he was in jail, and he couldn't continue with this very outstanding program.
Agnifilo, come on, Agnifilo. Of course, he got jailed. That's what happens when you're arrested. He could have done the program before, but okay, all right.
Which I believe he'll come back to if he's released. And that's really, I started my career in the Manhattan DA's office, and I would see, all manner of domestic violence, and it's a very difficult crime for everyone involved. It's difficult, obviously, for the victim, who has to live in fear from one of the people in her lives that she's the closest to, or he's the closest to. But what I saw in the DA's office is that these were not resulting in lengthy prison sentences. These were resulting in appropriate, treatment programs, self-awareness, therapy, things like that. And I think this is what Mr. Combs needs rather than an extended time in prison.
Mark, my understanding is that Jane wrote him a letter to get into the batterers program before he was arrested for the instant case. Is that correct?
They talked about that.
So they were in the process of writing a letter. So what happened with Mr. Combs, and this is because of his notoriety, and I think this is really unfortunate, is that I tried very hard to get him into a batterers program in April, April and May, before he got arrested. And I think because of his notoriety, a lot of these programs didn't want to take him. And so I think what was happening around the time of the incident that was testified to at the trial is that Jane was in fact helping him write a letter to get into one of these programs. And at the end of the day, he didn't get into the program that
couldn't he have hired somebody to come to his home and give him, like, yeah, you can have, I mean, it's he won't be able to go to a program like that. I give you. I don't think it would be feasible even for, like a group counseling session or something like that. You can't, he's a celebrity. It's not going to be a conducive environment for him, but he could hire somebody to go to his house and give him sessions. He can do that and kind of, work through a workbook with him or something like that. Totally doable.
I think the letter was directed to, but we got him to another program, and he did start, therapy and counseling in that program, and did that for several weeks before he was arrested. So that's what your question is. The answer is yes, that is true.
And thank you for that, Mark. Is he availing himself of any programs now
And what he needed too was something for substance abuse. I mean, that should have been substance abuse before his arrest, because then he wouldn't have been arrested with the shit that he had on with him, right? How about he definitely has, and I don't want to say it's an FO, but maybe there needs to be, maybe he does need to see somebody for his sexual tendencies if he wants to treat that and explore that a little bit more. You know what I mean? Specifically in terms of like just weighing that in and coming to terms with that. I honestly think that, there's nothing wrong with whatever lifestyle this man wants to live, or anybody for that matter. We can't really judge him for that, but there needs to be consent, right? And then there also needs to be, an understanding of, maybe come to terms with that. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's something that he needs to come to terms with. You said, what the hell? I just saw this. What the heck is going on? Says Humble Journey. No help for substance abuse. True, right? Like if he would have had somebody come in, like a counselor or something to help with that, that would have been good. Because then he was arrested with substances and stuff. The other side to this too is this prescription medication and the name change and stuff like that. I honestly think that for somebody who has to do FOs every day or every single day, the way in which, I mean, it's just, he needs help for that too, right? Like these are things that he needs counseling for. He needs to seek therapy for, and come to terms with certain things when it comes to that. You do have to kind of wonder, well, where does that come from? What's the history of that? Like, is this in childhood? Why does he have to have S this way? Or maybe he does, and that's his personal business. That's absolutely fine. However, like coming to terms with, making sure that everybody's consenting, everybody wants to do it, and all that other stuff, and figuring that out. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just my only thought on that. Thank you so much for gifting a membership, Mara Mello. Thank you. Appreciate it. You said, I think he would have to try to find a corrupt doctor or therapist to sign off paperwork or to lie to the courts. Well, and that's the thing. It's like, we would hope that that's not the case. But like I said, like Diddy needs a lot of therapy. He definitely does. You said there are programs centered around celebrities. They're making excuses. Yeah. And there's a lot of doctors that make visits, there truly is. So, he could have that. He could have had that. He could still have that. And I think that somebody like Diddy, just personality wise, seems like he's going to need ongoing support to address this. I truly believe that he could address some of this stuff, but he really needs to be invested in this treatment and not bullshit or buy his way out of anything. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. I believe it's learned behavior from his mother. Ooh. They said that there's a history there. Bridget, did you become a member? Thank you so much for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Thank you. Biscuit said he has a history of doctors that gave him scripts. Well, there's that. Typically there is a treatment plan that goes with various programs, okay, that he would have to do on his own, and he would have to pay for and all that other stuff. Like Gold Digger says here, maybe getting into a rug battery program privately after the Cassie situation many years ago would have been more beneficial. Many years later, many have suffered more abuse allegedly out of his hands. I mean, from that situation. He does. And what about the victim support? Oh, and they're going to need it, right? Like, I think everybody around this situation needs a lot of support. Absolutely. Hell, the people that even worked in this environment need some support too, guys. Like, I'm just being honest with you. It seems to me that they all need a level of support, a level of like therapy and, coming to terms with a lot of this. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. A lot of support is needed. He said, disagree. Therapy doesn't help personality disorders. Messica, it helps identify them, and it helps when you identify them. Here's the deal: is I don't want to make that blanket statement simply because, and that allows people to get out of any level of accountability. I know a lot of people with personality disorders that have to take therapy for forever, for life. They'll forever have to do a therapy session or have mental health treatment services to treat this. So in my opinion, I would disagree with the statement because if a person can identify what that personality disorder is and how it's impacting people around them, then there is help for those symptoms and those things to deal with that. And I think that that's the thing. Is like, I personally don't believe in throwing people away. Because if you think about it, if you've ever been through anything in your life, or if you've ever done anything to anybody, people just giving up on you, I don't believe in that notion, and I can't. It's just not in me. I believe that people can be rehabilitated. Even the worst of the worst can be rehabilitated in certain aspects. Now, when it comes to crimes against children, that's a whole different level as far as SA and all that other stuff. That's a different level, but we have to kind of weigh this stuff in. You said I have a personality disorder and I'm still waiting on MBT. Yeah. Like I said, everybody's got a little bit of everything. You said my daughter has this and she is doing much better through the therapy, but you'll never be cured. You can't be cured out of a personality disorder, but it is good to identify that through therapy, if that makes sense. All right, let me hit play on this. Hold up, y'all.
Jail.
So the MDC doesn't have the programming that some other jails do because it's not a final holding facility. It's really for people who are in a pretrial posture. So it's by its nature somewhat transient. So other prisons where people go to serve their sentences have much better programming, and so the programming at the MDC is not really that well established. That being said, we've cobbled together therapists and people who go in and speak with Mr. Combs, and he is availing himself of that.
When we come back after this break, we're going to turn our attention to sentencing. Currently, the date is set for October 3rd. Remember, Diddy was acquitted of the crime of racketeering conspiracy, acquitted of the sex trafficking offenses, convicted of transportation to commit prostitution.
Yep.
That carries a maximum allowable penalty of up to 10 years in prison. When we come back, I ask his attorney what he's hoping.
Now, to be fair, guys, because I think it's important to note, right? This is somebody, Diddy is somebody. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, but Alec Baldwin had his case dismissed. If you guys remember, he was recently acquitted too. I think, was it last year? Yeah, last year in the summer, he was like acquitted of any wrongdoing for that Russ set shooting. Okay, but anyways, so let me get right to this. So, here's somebody, I think Diddy is somebody who, I don't know if he's ever sought help for anything. Therapy, I mean, I would be surprised if he has, because he has been propped up for so many years, right? So many years. He's had the people around him to, tell him everything that he wants to hear. And, he's throwing money at people. And I think this is somebody who, for the longest time, He's had a lot of yes people around. Imagine going from having a lot of yes people around to suddenly not having that anymore, right? And having that be a reality check for you. What does that mean? It's not so much about prison, but like even the social emotional part of you, right? He has a lot of yes people, and then suddenly he lands him. He's in prison, right, because of his wrongdoings. A felon now, right? And then now he's having to have conversations with people to kind of determine, well, what the hell is wrong with me? What did I do? I think Diddy can see if I have a little bit of, and this is just my thought. I think he could see maybe, oh, I effed up here and I effed up there, but to truly understand what he did wrong, right? And then kind of review that and everything with somebody who's a licensed therapist or a licensed counselor or psychologist. I really think that this is going to be a lifelong thing for Diddy, beyond serving whatever time he serves, or if he's acquitted, whatever it may be. It's going to be a lifelong thing, if you know what I mean. So there is that. You said that's the rich, you think it's the rich people problems? Well, I'll say this, all right. I have friends who are wealthy, and one thing I've noticed is that and y'all can agree with me and disagree with me in the chat, but there's definitely a difference between somebody who has to earn their wealth versus somebody who was born into wealth. Put it one in the chat if you agree with that, right? And I think this is important to note. Diddy, to a certain, he's earned his wealth, however he did it, right? However you guys want to spin that, whatever you think. He earned his wealth, but his children were born into wealth. And that, my friends, I think is the biggest thing that people have to watch out, because they've picked up a little bit of like his coping skills in certain areas or his mannerisms. There's certain areas that they will never understand, right? As far as what a struggle goes. Yes. So think about it. Like there's a difference. There's a difference between earning your wealth versus being born into wealth. And at least I've noticed, but and I think that that's kind of common sense. All right, and that and so much more than entitlement, right? Like, I would say the way of being. There are certain things that kids that are born into wealth will never understand. They don't have to earn it. There's some celebrities out there that do have their children earn their wealth. You know who this reminds me of? Was it Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey, I believe, is one of them. There might be some celebrities out there who say, this is my wealth. You are not going to take my wealth. This is my wealth. You have to earn your wealth. And then people they might get a little bit of a push to kind of get where they need to go, but they have to earn their wealth. They have to earn their keep. You disagree? Tell me more. Why? Let me know. If you disagree, you don't have to agree with me, y'all. Please, no, this is not an echo chamber. But let me know what you guys think. You say you can spin it how you want. The charges of S trafficking was acquitted of. So there's that. There you go. Okay. Those born into wealth will have entitlement issues. King having this right here. This his son, King Combs, is the one that kind of worries me. And we should be worried about the generations that are coming. Kids that are born into wealth is different, right? Like they have a different life than those of us that are not. There's things that we'll never understand and know. People who earn their wealth tend to be more down to earth. That's not a blanket statement, just an observation from my point. I have wealthy friends who earn their wealth, but their kids, sometimes it seems like they don't get that earning the wealth part, so they'll do something different. You know what I mean? You still know the difference between right and wrong. You still should be able to teach your kids the difference between right or wrong, wealth or not, right? And then there's those that, like, some of us will never see the wealth that some of these people have, but we might be blessed in other ways. You know what I mean? You have to if you're spiritual, if for me, I'm spiritual, y'all. I believe in God, right? And I believe that certain people are born with certain things, and then some of us have to earn some of this stuff. But I realized that maybe the reason why I wasn't born into certain things is that maybe I would have gotten a big head. Maybe I would have not been the person who I am now. And I like the person who I am. Even though sometimes I can't stand myself because I just, I have my moments. I think everybody else does. But I mean, there's a reason why things happen the way that they do. But anyways, going back to this is a whole different tangent. Can Diddy, being in the situation that he's in, being convicted, can he truly learn from the things that he has done? Can you truly rehabilitate? That's the question that I have. Let me know in the chat. Can you truly rehabilitate someone like Diddy? In your opinion, I want you to put in the chat. In my opinion, yes. In my opinion, no. Can you truly rehabilitate somebody like Diddy?
When the time comes for him to be released eventually. My conversation with his lead defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, continues. Mark, I want to talk to you about sentencing, please. Have your expectations with the federal government changed at all with Maureen Comey being let go from her position?
No, I thought Maureen Comey was an outstanding lawyer and is an outstanding lawyer, and I think will go on to have a terrific career regardless of where she is. I think it's a loss to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and it's unfortunate, in my view, what happened to her personally.
What happened to her? Agnifilo, what do you know? Look at Agnifilo's face. I bet you he knows what happened to her. Like, he's got this little look on him like, I know what happened, and I can't say. He knows what happened to Maureen Comey. I don't know. So he got asked, what do you think about Maureen Comey? He's like, it's a loss. It's an interesting statement, right? What does he know? Like, he's got those. Listen, he looked away from. I'm not a body behavioral expert, but he looked away from the camera like he knows what happened. Hold up. Let me go back a little bit. Okay, hold up. All right. The 900 lady, operator lady asked him a very interesting question. Watch how he acts.
With the federal government changed at all with Maureen Comey being let go from her position?
No, I thought Maureen Comey was an outstanding lawyer and is an outstanding lawyer, and I think will go on to have a terrific career regardless of where she is. I think it's a loss to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and it's unfortunate, in my view, what happened to her personally. I got to know
what happened to her. Agnifilo, what happened to her? What happened? Lawyers talk. What happened? Did y'all see that? Did you guys see? Did you see what happened? Look at this. Remember, Agnifilo's wife worked in the Southern District of New York. Yeah, the Agnifilos are family lawyers. They're lawyers. Yeah. Do you see that? What happened, Agnifilo? You said Trump don't like her daddy. No, yeah. Okay, like, you guys picked that up? He knows and he can't say. It's the way that he answered that. He said, Maureen, he could have said, Maureen Comey was a great lady, great lawyer, best of luck to her. He says, it's unfortunate what happened to her. Well, what happened to her? He knows something. We see you. This is so crazy, right? Oh my God. Yo, he knows. Y'all see that? Okay. All right.
Her and all the members of the government trial team pretty well during the trial, and I have a great deal of respect for all of them, including Ms. Comey. But no, that's an outstanding office. The Southern District of New York has a deep bench, as they say. They're very good lawyers in the office and on this trial team. So I don't think the presentation of evidence or arguments will suffer, even though Maureen left.
Mark, it seems like your team and the government are just miles apart.
But did she leave? She didn't leave. She was told to leave. There's a difference. You didn't just leave. You didn't say I quit. You were told to leave. There's a difference. Okay? You say he knows exactly what happened to her. The way he looked away so fast. Listen, somebody get the body people experts over here. Get the body people experts to examine this little situationship here, because it needs to be examined all the way. Yes, it does. Thank you. She was fired. I know, but he doesn't say that. But okay. All right.
On what kind of a sentence would be appropriate for Mr. Combs. What is your greatest hope, your most ideal hope for sentence for him?
So my hope obviously is that he gets out as soon as possible. We filed a bail application this morning, and my hope obviously is that the judge sees the wisdom in that and agrees with us. The government will oppose it, and the government will oppose it for reasons that they believe are sound. Now, in terms of sentencing,
now these are the $20 T-shirt gang, right? Like they all paid 20. Isn't that they got paid $20 for wearing a free Diddy shirt? And there was like at least 10 of them, and you knew who got paid. This is what they looked into. I guess somebody said that each of the free Diddy people outside of the New York City, they were in a group and they were paid like $20 or something like that, right? GMAT says everything nowadays is secrecy and speaking in codes. I'm gonna need people to come forward and speak with their whole chest and bring the receipts. The receipts need to be receipting. Yes, they do. Okay, I agree with that. I'm gonna need more transparency at this point. I hate the code talking. I really do. I think it's today. The debt. So there's the motion was filed. What was it, on the 29th? And the judge gave them till today to respond. So we're waiting on the government to respond. They could respond any minute now at this point. And the thing is, I do wonder, because if I remember, the judge basically told them no more bail applications, but he didn't turn this one away. Would it have to do with Comey being gone and they're feeling kind of ballsy and they're like, we're going to submit things now that Maureen is gone? Could very well be the case. I don't know. You said she was involved with Diddy, Epstein, and Maxwell trials. Who else is tied to them? The big T, who then fired him? Well, I wouldn't necessarily, like, you guys can have your opinions about Maureen Comey, but I wouldn't necessarily call her incompetent. I mean, she didn't do a good job in the Diddy trial, but she did her due diligence in Maxwell. So I don't know if incompetent. Now, if you can call her, if you, in your opinion, if you feel like the lady is there's something wrong with the lady and there's something going on behind the scenes, completely get it. But I don't think she's incompetent. Honestly, that's one thing I don't think that she is. She hasn't shown herself to be incompetent, except for, they didn't do a good job in the Diddy trial. That's the reality of it, and it's okay to say that. It's okay to say that. I don't know the way, and we've read these transcripts and we've talked about it. So yeah, he said, I think she had an unfair dismissal case. Ooh, she was fired right before the beginning of Maxwell meeting. So there's that. Yeah, I think the Comey firing has to do with the Maxwell situation. But let's keep going.
We believe that, a sentence along the lines of time served is more than sufficient. If you look at what Johns are sentenced to, even if they're prosecuted in the first case in this country, no one's doing close to the time that Mr. Combs has done in jail. So I think we have to treat like cases alike, and I think he should be released in short order.
Mark, what are his hopes for his life? Because at some point this will all be said and done. We don't know what exactly the sentence will be that the court imposes, but after that, does he hope to return to music?
I don't know that he's thought that far ahead. The phrase he uses with me, and I can share it because he said that I could, is he says he feels he has more to give. And I think that's the focus. I think that he has spent a lot of time reflecting. He's a religious man. He's a man who has 7 children. He takes care of them, all of them. He takes care, one of the long-term relationships with whom he had 4 kids, has passed away, but the rest, he takes good care of the women he's in a relationship with. He's really a very caring, dedicated person. And so I think he wants to emphasize that part of his life. Come out of jail,
He does take care of his children. That, we can't take that away. They say all kinds of things about Diddy, but he does take care of his children. And I think that maybe that's the one area where he might be, where he feels like he shines at, if that makes sense. Jamie, thank you so much for becoming a member. Thank you. I feel like you were already a member, love. Shout out to you. Thank you. More to give. Yes, he says. He just said that. He says that, but y'all gonna come for me in the comments, but he does take care of his children. I'll say, if I were to look at this other side, I'd say that. He does seem like he takes care of his children.
some great time with his children, who he misses very much. They get to see their dad. And I think he's going to be happy in the short term, having the simpler pleasures in life, but I expect he's a genius in my view. And he has unparalleled talent and ambition and vision. And I would say vision is probably the most pronounced of all those things. And I expect big things out of him. But I think we need to let him have a little transition, have some downtime. I just spoke to him an hour ago. I said, I'm not going to rest until you feel the hot August sun on your neck. And have the simple things in life, and you can take it from there. And I think he sees the wisdom in that.
Mark, he really couldn't have a better advocate. I mean that sincerely, advocate to advocate. I was incredibly impressed with you and what I got to see and how passionately you've worked for him and his defense. One last question before I know we have to let you go. As you know, no cameras are allowed in federal court, and that's something I hope that changes one day.
Yes.
Tell me, if the public were able to have watched, do you think it would have perhaps changed any public opinions? In other words, is there anything you think the public might have missed in not being able to actually see the trial?
I wish we would have seen the trial. I wish there would have been cameras. I wish there would have been more cameras. I mean, what do you guys think in the chat? Think about it. More cameras for people to have watched, to have made their own opinion, and to have been, maybe there would have been I don't know, different thoughts on it, right? That's what I think. I mean, what do y'all think? You said, oh my God, I know it's his job, but I don't like him. Yes, he's got a lot of give, but okay, he does take care of the kids money-wise. Yeah. Money-wise, he takes care of his adult children. He's got one younger child. But I would have loved, I couldn't watch the circus. I don't know if you guys, I would have loved to have been, can you all imagine if at the very least, I know that we would have had a lot of YouTubers that would have gone down there, and that's absolutely fine. But I think this would have been different had this should have been filmed. I think it would have been a whole different story where maybe we would have gotten a different perspective. Some of you guys could have watched it, and I don't know, we could have watched it together. There could have been something different from it, Let me know. Let me know what you guys think.
That's a great question. And it's such an interesting issue. I mean, there's something about federal court that's wonderfully traditional. They didn't have cameras in 1789 when the Southern District was created, and it hasn't changed. And there's so much about trying cases in federal court where things haven't changed. And there's so much about that that's wonderful. That all being said, I do think the public would have come to view Mr. Combs very differently than the way he was depicted in the tabloids and in these lawsuits, which lack merit. And I wish that they could have seen the evidence firsthand, the way the jury did. And one thing I want to throw out, I mean, not too much, but there's been a little second guessing I've seen of the jury verdict by some people in some publications. And this was an immensely dedicated jury. They were on time every day. They paid close attention. They all took notes. You can tell when a jury is really functioning at 100%, and this jury was. And I wish that everyone could have seen what the jury saw. I think that would have been very good for Mr. Combs and very appropriate for the world to have seen it with their own eyes. Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. And the respect you showed us in this interview, you're exuding for the other side. Everyone's just doing their job. The government did what they felt was best under the circumstances, following the law as they saw, and you all did your job advocating for your client. Mark Agnifilo, thank you so much for the conversation.
Ooh.
I hope we can talk again sometime.
Thank you. I hope so too.
What do y'all think? Let me know. You said he's doing too much PR. Oh my God. You guys are unforgiving and hilarious at the same time. Shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. So let's get it together, guys, because we have so many other things to review. But first of all, let's get into here are the documents. So much. I don't know how much we can actually review that he hasn't already said, but it is about a good 60 pages. And truly, what they want to do overall excuse me, 62 pages, not 66. What they want to do overall is offer basically an acquittal, a new trial. So they're pulling every stop when it comes to this. Okay. They're going by the evidence. They're going by the fact that this is kind of one of those situations where there's a man behind bars in a Mann Act charge, but historically we don't have that. And if you do look at the Mann Act cases, that is absolutely accurate. We don't, I mean, even the one that we read last time that Agnifilo had filed for was the gestures. Remember the New York City cop and the New York judge who ran a prostitution ring where most of the victims didn't speak English, and so they were using these victims, and this was two federal government people that were running this ring, right? And I guess they didn't even get a lengthy prison sentence for doing things like this. So there is that. I mean, what do you guys think in the comments? Let me know. You said that jury is shady. It's a shady jury. Oh my goodness. You said I watched the OJ trial every day on TV and I worked swing shifts. I don't think, I mean, I hear about people. I was a little girl when the OJ trial was happening, so I can't tell you that I watched it because clearly I didn't understand anything that was going on, right? I can't tell you that I watched it or anything like that, but I do remember it being a big deal when it happened. I remember the broadcasting. It was in the Univision Telemundo networks, which is the Spanish networks back in the day that played on, our household. So it was a big deal. Even though I didn't understand it, it was a big deal. Okay. Now, furthermore, this is Diddy docket. At the post-trial motion buzzer, Sean Diddy Combs motions the court for acquittal or new trial on document 3 and 5. So they are putting this out here at the date and time to be determined by the court for an ordering granting him a judgment of acquittal on 3 counts and 5 pursuant rule to Rule 29 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedures, or 2 in the alternative, can't read, a new trial on counts 3 and 5 pursuant Rule 33. So they're still fighting while he's there, and defense directing prawn is illegal, so the conviction violates Diddy's First Amendment. He had no commercial motive. There is insufficient evidence that he transported anyone with the intent to engage in prostitution. Plus, he didn't intend for the escorts to have S with him. He didn't have S with the escorts. I think this is an interesting point. I mean, he watched the escorts having S with the girl, right? With Cassie and Jane, right? That was his thing, but he didn't participate. He didn't intend to have S with the escorts. Okay. Let's give you an idea of just all of it. I mean, it's a lot of, in my opinion, not because it's poorly written or anything, nothing like that. It's just a lot of mental gymnastics in trying to fight for your client and do what you have to do. But I mean, Diddy Docket did point this out, that directing prawn is legal. I can direct prawn. I can do a prawn video and direct it. So the conviction violates Diddy's First Amendment. He had no commercial motive. There was no commercial motive. Okay. There is insufficient evidence that he transported anyone with the intent to engage in prostitution. Plus, he didn't intend to have, he didn't intend for the escorts to have S with him. He just liked to watch. That was it. What do y'all think? Yeah, so to call it, you're right, Stella. So to call him a John is simply too insulting. That's correcto mundo right there. Correcto mundo right there, right? He said their filings, file after file, Agnifilo is drowning out of submissions. They're drowning out. Well, I guess the point is how is a judge going to see this? I mean, now that we have a conviction, okay, we have a conviction. I mean, we never know. You said, wait. Is he never had S with them? How is he a John now? He said he wasn't a John. Hold up. Let me see. He said that he at best, he would be he wouldn't even be considered a John, actually. I don't think you can consider him. It's just a crazy way to look at it. The corn industry has a lot of guidelines he was not following, so he wants to be treated like that, and he better be ready to face fines. for industry violations like operating without a license. Ah. Didn't one of the escorts say Diddy would point his rear in their direction? I remember. I think that wasn't in trial though. That was in an interview that was done. Oh my god, I remember that interview. I there was an interview where one of the corn stars said that he was pointing his rear. But that wasn't in the trial. Still thinking about the end of the trial where the prosecution was like, "Your Honor, I'm concerned the jury doesn't understand what they're supposed to do with the crayons," and then the jury ate them. He would have been better off just opening up an adult industry. But didn't I say, I told you guys that. I remember saying this. He would have been better off opening up an adult industry thing, and then he wouldn't have found himself in this situation. You said, oh, Nikki's like, listen, sitting, controlling what they do, and torching himself, that is participation. Well, and he's paying for it too. So there's that. I love that you guys have a sense of humor in the chat, because this is it. Like I said, like some of this is just too much. You know what I mean? Too much, too serial. I got to be careful how I talk, because they always want to demonetize me and, throw me to the wolves, and they want to do all kinds of different things. I just cannot. I cannot. Listen, I'm glad that you guys have a sense of humor. Thank you for having that sense of humor. All right, guys, we got to move on. So we spend a good, 50 plus minutes on Diddy, and you guys let me know what you guys think is going to happen, or what your thoughts are on this matter. Okay, so I want to talk about this situation that I can't remember who tagged me on Discord. Shout out to, I think, was it Mercy Miami, or was it Truth Teller? There's a bunch of people that tagged me on some of these stories. Now, did you guys hear about there's a councilman by the name of Liam Vogler? He was doused in gasoline. So somebody came in and doused this man in gasoline to have like a personal attack with him. A councilman, okay? And he intended to set this man on fire.
Potentially setting a city councilman on fire.
WXIA 12 Joshua Davis spent the day in Danville, where he learned more about the victim and the suspect, who investigators say knew one another.
Investigators stressed that this attack on Danville City Council member Liam Payne was personal and was not related to his position on the city council or his political affiliation. Investigators say that this morning, the suspect walked into this local magazine office you can see over my shoulder, where Vogler works, and doused him in a flammable liquid. This happened around 11:30 this morning. The owner of the magazine office sharing the terrifying moments that followed.
Our coworker Liam Payne was attacked in our office. An individual forced his way into our office carrying a 5-gallon bucket of gasoline and poured the gasoline on Lee. Lee attempted to flee, ran to the front of the building. The individual followed him and set him on fire.
After being covered in that liquid, Danville police say Vogler and the suspect, identified as 29-year-old Shotzi Hayes, went outside, where they say Hayes then set Vogler on fire. A receptionist from a nearby business told us one of their employees saw Vogler and rushed to help put the flames out. He was later airlifted to a burn unit at a hospital in Chapel Hill. Hayes was found several blocks away and taken into custody. He's being charged with attempted first-degree murder and aggravated malicious wounding.
This type of senseless act of violence has to stop. You do not have the right as a human being to get upset with someone enough to lash out and attempt to harm them.
Oh my God.
In any way, much less this way.
Residents I spoke with told me that Vogler is a change agent. You could see him working in the community constantly. He's someone who truly wants to see Danville grow.
He's a hard worker. I remember when I first met Lee, we had a food program at our church. He came over to speak running, and I got to know him. I want our citizens to pray for a man who loves his community.
And Hayes is currently being held in the Danville City Jail under no bond as the investigation continues. In Danville, I'm Joshua Davis for WXII 12 News.
Wait, you said we need an eye for an eye law? What you want to set other people on fire? Gee, man, you could, like, that's crazy. But we don't even know what really happened in between them. He said he was trying to change a low-income housing project into luxury apartments. This was definitely, so it was political, Joe Spring? It was politically motivated. It was a politically motivated crime. Hey, Sylvia. That's great. But to set him on fire? That's crazy, guys. Like, that's crazy. Y'all, you said eye for eye. Let's set everybody on fire. That's crazy, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Shout out to you. I when I heard this story, I said, whoa, that's insane. That's an insane situation and story to even have happen. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, literally. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. All right. Let's move on because we have to talk about another situation. Virginia Giuffre's family. You guys, Virginia Giuffre's family pleads with Trump not to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. What are your guys' thoughts about this article? What do you think Virginia Giuffre would be saying right now if she were alive? What are your guys' thoughts about this? So far, the title, okay, because we haven't even gotten into it. Don't pardon her. And yet people are, like I said, a deal with the devil is going to be made as it pertains to Virginia Giuffre. Okay? Or excuse me, Maxwell. You feel terrible for the family? Virginia would be screaming blue hell if she was still alive. Yeah. So I guess the family is not in support of anything as far as pardoning or anything like that. Jeffrey Epstein's victim's family call Maxwell a monster who deserves to rot in prison for the rest of her life. The family of Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's victims, has urged Donald Trump not to pardon the disgraced financier, longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell. As backlash grows, administration handling of the Epstein case, Trump told reporters on Monday that he is allowed to grant clemency to Maxwell, who is serving a 20-year sentence for trafficking minors, adding that he hadn't thought about it. The family of Giuffre, a key survivor of Epstein SA, who died by self-deletion, which we don't believe that's the case, but okay, in April, and said any leniency towards Maxwell would be one of the highest travesties of justice. The government and the president should never consider giving Ghislaine Maxwell any leniency. The lady, she wouldn't be speaking if she wasn't going to be giving any kind of leniency. Like, come on now. She's not going to be speaking if she's not giving any kind of leniency. That's what's happening. So this is what the family said. The government and the president should not consider giving Ghislaine Maxwell any leniency. The family said in a statement Wednesday, Ghislaine Maxwell is a monster who deserves to rot in prison for the rest of her life for the extraordinary violence and abuse she put not just on our sister Virginia through, but many other survivors who may number in the thousands. She gave up 100 names, guys. 100 names. The senior administrator official told NBC News that no leniency towards Maxwell is being discussed. The family also noted that Trump said clemency for Maxwell is not something that he's even thinking about at this time. The Giuffres pounced on Trump's claims on Tuesday that Epstein stole the victim from his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach. That word, that stole. He stole her from here. He, like that, my friends, that is such an interesting word. Like, I don't know if Trump is just like putting his foot in his mouth every 5 seconds when he speaks on any of this. And I am sure that his administration's just like, stop talking, Trump, because you're making us look bad. Stop it, Trump. Stop talking. He literally said, like, almost like, I was like, you cannot make this shit. I mean, you don't have to put words in Trump's mouth. He says it himself. There are clips where he literally just says about everything. And listen, okay, There's that. That's what it is. He owned it. He is. I just couldn't believe it. Yeah, he doesn't think of any of them as committed crimes. Maybe. You think what he says is deliberate? Why is he? That's the thing, is like, is he just speaking out? And, he has to be very careful. I mean, he's trying not to implicate himself. And I say this because I feel like, how can you not implicate Trump in many of these things? But, who knows? I might be surprised. I may be very, very wrong. And I might be speaking out of turn when it comes to this, which wouldn't be the first time. So, excuse me, there's that. Okay. You said Miss. But you guys weren't friends. That's right. They didn't even know each other. Trump and Epstein didn't even know each other. They weren't even friends. It's all an illusion. It's all right here. It's not real. It's fake news. It's all right here, y'all. They like, what's that one movie where everything is fake and they make up a whole scenario for this man who's crazy? Shutter Island. It's a Shutter Island situation. By the way, that is an awesome movie. Try rewatching it if you watched it. Okay, try rewatching it again. You always find a little nugget of something. It's a pretty good movie. Shutter Island. It's not real. The guns are fake. None of it is real. None of it. Okay. You said they were old wrestling buddies. Lord. It's all a hoax. It's the Shutter Island effect. Okay. Hold up. Let's keep going, y'all, because I'm losing it. So Giuffre's family, they pounce on Trump's claim on Tuesday that Epstein stole the victim from his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach at age 16. Giuffre had worked at Trump's resort as a locker room attendant during the summer of 2000. During the summer of 2000, she was 16. How old was I? She was older than me. So I had just started high school. When did I start high school? 99, 2000? Yeah, 99, 2000, I started high school. So she was, what, about 2 or a year and a half older than me. It was shocking to hear President Trump invoke our sister and say that he was aware that Virginia had been stolen from Mar-a-Lago, they said in a statement. It makes us ask if he was aware of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell criminal actions. Yeah, it does make you wonder. I'm going to say it. It makes you wonder if he knew that shit was going down at Mar-a-Lago and he willfully looked away. It does make you wonder how complicit you are in this, right? It makes us ask if he was aware of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell criminal actions, especially given his statements 2 years later that his good friend Jeffrey Epstein likes women on the younger side, no doubt about it. How would he know that? If you weren't, how do you make a statement like that if you're not hanging out with the person who you're giving a very intimate detail about a person? If I were to say, yeah, my friend, she's funny, man. She's funny. And she even likes young guys. How would I know that? I wouldn't be able to say that without certainty unless I'm hanging out with my friend who likes younger guys and I happen to be around for that. Like, why are we playing Clue here? We know that this is the shit that's been said. We know this, right? Right. All of these. Thank you. So I don't like any of them. I don't. They all stress me out. All of them. The other side and this side too. All of them. All of them can get it. This is why I tell you guys, they all can get it. Trump denies having any knowledge of Epstein's criminal activities. Okay. And the president has never been accused of wrongdoing in connection with his disgraced person case. Okay. White House press secretary Caroline, is it Levitt? I can never say her last name right, said Wednesday evening that the president kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep to his female staff. Okay. Okay. In that statement, the family acknowledged that Giuffre had worked at the Trump Florida resort years before Epstein and Trump allegedly fell out over a real estate deal in 2004 and a year long before police began investigating Epstein. Okay, however, the family accused Maxwell of having preyed upon Giuffre while she worked at the resort for 25 years ago. Giuffre's family told The Atlantic on Wednesday that Epstein's victim work at Mar-a-Lago was meant to be a fun summer job, but instead led her to being trafficked. Yeah, nowhere is safe. For more than a decade, Epstein's case had been a subject of intense public interest amid speculation that high-profile public figures who had ties to the financier may have been involved in or had knowledge of his trafficking network. The Trump administration has been facing backlash after the Justice Department and FBI said in a memo released earlier this month that there was no client list of Epstein's associates who may have participated in his crimes. It also noted that Epstein did indeed die by S in his jail cell in 2019. Giuffre's family noted in his statement that they and the public are demanding answers about the case and that the survivors deserve this. I agree. In what Democrats are calling a veiled effort to drown out the outrage at the Trump's administration's sudden U-turn on the files, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche met with Maxwell privately for 9 hours last week, which I think it's interesting that nobody saw the because Todd Blanche was Trump's attorney. Remember, we talked about this in another live. Todd Blanche was Trump's attorney. Okay. Todd Blanche was Trump's attorney. So for those that don't see maybe the concerns with that, I find that to be interesting. Last week, the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee subpoenaed Maxwell, leading her to signal that she would testify to Congress if granted immunity. Giuffre's family warned Maxwell and had already been convicted for lying under oath and said that she will continue to do so as long as it affects her position. The committee quickly rejected Maxwell's proposal, stating through a spokesperson that immunity will not even be considered at all. Okay. Just so people are aware. So this is what we have going on. You said what people deserve and what they are two different things. There you go. There's that. Let's see. You have to check out Shutter. I think it's free on YouTube. You can watch it for free on YouTube. Yeah, so check it out. Hey, Eric Rader, how are you? Okay. I think Giuffre's family is in their right to feel that the way that they do and feel like, they have been wronged. It does make you wonder what would Virginia say to all of this? Would she still be in support? Because I think at one point she was very much in support of Trump at one point. Okay. At one point she was. All right, guys, we have to move on. Let me know what you guys think. And let's see. Hold up. Let me make sure because I feel like we are trailing on time. My goodness, we really are getting ahead on the time. I'm a little surprised. We have plenty of time still that we can review other things. But I wanted us to talk about what's going on here. Let's talk about Liam Payne. It's been a minute since I've talked about Liam Payne, in part because this is a case that just makes me so mad. And even reading this makes me even more upset. Okay, now, a lot of people were like, all right, we're done with the Liam Payne cases. Everything is done dadas. We're out of here. We're done, right? Well, or are we? Or are we? That is the question. Are we really, truly done with the Liam Payne case? Shout out to everybody that's been following me with this one. It's been a minute since I've touched it. And part of it is because it makes me mad, but also like I don't want to be reporting. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't want to be reporting on what Maya Hendry said or what the other opportunist woman that was with him was saying, because they are annoying to me. And they're trying to tarnish Liam Payne's character after death, and he can't defend himself. And the family, his family has stayed quiet while these women have said so. I don't know. It's just they don't deserve attention, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? They don't. Sylvia, thank you so much for the 1999. Nothing to see here, just a circus. Off to work. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Sylvia. And oh my God, Sylvia, thank you so much for the Cash App. I just got it. And James, thank you so much for the PayPal. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you, guys. And Sylvia, have a good day at work. You and your Bert and Ernie. Every time I think of Bert and Ernie, I think of Diddy. Okay. So let's talk about this article. And this is out of Argentina. All right. So this is a Argentinian source, Infobae. The court has decided to seize the iPhone 16 belonging to Liam Payne's friend to seek evidence. Case is done. This man walks away. No charges, no nothing. And I got to be careful because he's very litigious. Rogelio Nores, who decided to sue Liam's dad and then was like, I'm not going to sue him, drops that whole case out of Florida. We spoke on it first and broke it down here. We did when it came to this guy right here. I found this guy to be, in my opinion, he's very suspect. Okay. But the court has decided to seize the iPhone 16 belonging to Liam Payne's friend to seek evidence. Rogelio Nores was acquitted in the death of former singer in Buenos Aires. However, his phone has not still been examined 10 months after his death. Really? The mystery of the former One Direction singer's laptop. So they haven't even checked his phone or his laptop 10 months after Liam died. Businessman Rogelio Nores, friend of Liam Payne, I don't know if you would call him that, according to himself, faced a notable setback in justice. The court decided not to return his iPhone 16. Okay. Seized as part of the case investigating the singer's death, which occurred in October 2024 in Buenos Aires. Since almost a year after the event, it has still not been opened. The decision made in mid-month by the Fourth Chambers, composed of judges Ignacio Valera and Hernan Lopez, also includes not returning the phone and Mac computer belonging to the singer Lourdes Lulu Miranda. Lulu Miranda, who's another singer that was hanging out. Her house was raided when Liam Payne died and all this other stuff. And they were looking as to who supplied drugs to Liam Payne. She was part of this whole situation. Lulu Miranda is his girlfriend, okay? His girlfriend, according to the ruling, the devices were seized during a raid on an apartment linked to Miranda Palamero. Nores was acquitted earlier this year in the case investigating the singer's negligent homicide. Payne lost his life in Buenos Aires after falling from a balcony of his room at Casa Sur Hotel. Crazy, because hold up. Crazy situation how that happened. Yeah, the friend, I cannot. You said Roger's still a bully, period. It further goes. Payne lost his life in Buenos Aires after falling from the balcony in his room at Casa Sur Hotel Palermo amid the mental health crisis brought on by alcohol and cocaine use, combined with citrulline, a powerful antidepressant. I still don't believe that, but okay. According to the accusations of prosecutor Andres Madre, initially supported by the judge of the case, Lara Bernard, was in charge of managing Payne's stay and expenses in Buenos Aires. Okay. The businessman who had not proven business ties to the singer, such as being his manager, was the former One Direction member main contact in Argentina after accompanied him through his detox treatment in Miami. Casa Sur employees reported his alcohol orders to him. According to the prosecutor, Madres Nores was aware of the risk of mixing alcohol and citrulline, having been warned about it by a psychiatrist. Yes, they were all warned. And he was supposed to keep an eye on him. And he leaves him. Oh, he wasn't drunk. He wasn't anything. Okay. 10 months later, after they were giving the recommendation for him to get treatment, nothing was carried out. And so then ultimately Nores was charged, but then acquitted. But my question is, why are they just now asking? Why are they just now looking into phones and laptops? Why wasn't this done during the investigation? This is the crazy part. Another crucial analysis is pending that the context extracted from Liam Payne's MacBook Pro, which he used until just hours before his death, it is still completely unknown what information would emerge from the alleged extraction of the computer. I don't know. I don't know what to believe out of this situation, because none of these people are truthful or honest. If you know what I mean, none of it doesn't make sense at all. And I'm so confused by it. Exactly. It was only traces of it, right? Susan, thank you so much for the $5. Susan, thank you so much. Sorry, guys. Rabbit, sorry this off subject. Did you know that they still haven't given Karen Reed her Lexus or iPhone back, even after she's been acquitted? Why? The lady's been acquitted. Why not just give her material back? That's so weird. Why hasn't she been given her material? I mean, she's been acquitted. What's the point? I'm so confused. Let me know. Unfortunately, the legal system works slowly. Well, and it's in a different country, right? To be fair. Thank you, Susan, so much for the $5. Thank you. So, but this is in Argentina where they're doing this, right? I don't know. How long are they allowed to keep your material after you've been acquitted? That's the question that I have. Unfortunately, the legal system works slowly, and it's not unusual for evidence not to be returned. It doesn't just happen automatically. Oftentimes, paperwork has to be filed. That's it. Are they still checking on the material, though? I don't know. You said you just had a baby earthquake? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. It's crazy. It's a crazy situation, guys. But anyways, guys, this is what we have for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as we have reviewed this whole situation, you guys. I don't know. What about the new judges? Yeah, there's that too. I get frustrated because I have no answers. I don't know what else. Like, there's new judges. Are they still looking at it? Yes, honey. Here. Thank you. All right. You want to wait a little bit? Give me shake hands. There's new judges. I don't know what to make of it because it's almost like we don't know what is going to happen with that. Can you give me a second? No, I can't give you that. You got to wait. Here. You got to wait. We don't know what to make of that. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. Well, you have to wait, girl. Give me one sec, guys. Yeah, it's all crazy. Like I said, I don't. It's Argentina. We don't get a lot of info. I can't just go and get more information. You know, we do our best to report it, but I don't know why they need new judges. I don't know what's going on. Does this mean that new things can be open? Other things can be looked into? I don't know. I don't know what to make of this situation because so much of it doesn't make sense as it pertains to Liam Payne. And I don't know. The way they investigate, the way that they do things, it's just so crazy to me. You know, is that the picture of Liam Payne's last bodyguard? Yes, if I remember correctly. It's just a lot. Liam Payne, to me, is a case that was not well investigated. And there was a lot of people, to me, and I've said this before, I made this comparison numerous times. This is like a Matthew Perry situation where Liam Payne was vulnerable by the, mental health and substances that he was dealing with, right? And then people around him preyed on him, including those girlfriends. The last one, and then this one, that I don't like this other girlfriend that he had. I don't. I think it's ridiculous that stuff that she's doing this every time, but I don't feel like doing a video every time because it's like it's giving her attention, and I don't want to give her that attention. I don't think it's fair to give her that attention in terms of like if I call her out, I'm calling her out for the BS, for the fakeness, because I see the ish that she's doing, but I think that it's giving her the attention that she wants, if that makes sense. And that's what I don't want to do. I just don't believe that any of them. And I think that their family and their right mind are quiet because they need to be, and they have to be careful. You said that there was another earthquake 4 miles from Fontana, California. 3.1 earthquake. Damn, 4 miles. Wow. All right, guys. Well, I have to let you guys go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about these topics. Let me know what you think about Diddy. Let me know what you think about all of it. I will see you guys. I definitely will do a live later tonight, but I might do one here in a little bit, just depending on, if I have everything set up. I don't know if I do quite yet, but let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you. All right. Bye, guys. Bye, bye, bye.